What's up, everybody? Welcome to Move the Sticks. DJ, Bucky, and Rhett with you. And Buck, we normally start off with some throwaway Indiana comment, but we're going to stay in the state of Indianapolis because apparently the Colts getting a little jealous of all this love and attention that's going to Coach Sig and those Hoosiers.
Look at you.
Because they have just made a monster trade right before we started recording. They have shipped 2 first-round picks and A.D. Mitchell to the New York Jets for Sauce Gardner, who's just coming off of a recent contract extension. I won't lead the witness, Buck. I want to get your immediate reaction here. Rhett, follow him up.
Okay. Wow. Blockbuster deal. And I say this fully knowing that Sauce Gardner hadn't played at the level that he came in at the last year and a half, had some struggles with penalties and those things. But in spite of that, you talk about a 2-time All-Pro, a former defensive rookie of the year, a guy who has the length and athleticism to be a shutdown corner, one of the rare players that you can find on the island, teaming up with a team that covets athletes with prototypical dimensions in a defense that's run by a really creative schemer in Lou Anarumo. I love it. I love it because the D coordinator is a former DB coach. And I think the first thing they're going to do is try and find a way to clean up Sauce's technique to eventually help him get back to being a guy that can shell up those elite receivers. It signals to me, and I think it signals to the entire team, they are all in on making a push. And this takes their defense to another level because they've been playing great football on defense. But now, man, they just go to another level with a premier corner on the island.
Yeah, look, he's actually not allowing like a ton of completions. He has one of the lowest completion percentages against in the league at this point. But on the surface, it did feel to me like, whoa, that's a lot. Especially just seeing the 2 first and then to see A.D. Mitchell. Well, look, I know he had the play that everyone's kind of remembering for him this year with dropping the ball for the end zone and that whole situation. But it felt like that was kind of becoming a really nice little wide receiver room there, wide receiver quartet. But I think they feel like probably, maybe they can get through it with just Pierce, Josh Downs, and Michael Pittman, which kind of makes sense. But, again, A.D. Mitchell was a 2nd-round pick of yours, 2 years ago now? Mm-hmm. So that feels like a lot. If I'm Garrett Wilson, by the way, I do feel like I feel pretty good about this. I get someone else to be there in that receiver room in New York, even though the quarterback situation remains unsettled. But yeah, to me, I think, Bucky, the thing you said really hit it on the head. Like, this is a signal to this team, to this organization, to everyone within it. We are going for it right now. Right. Obviously just suffered the 2nd loss of the season, and they see an opportunity and a window to pounce. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I the more I looked at this, and it was shocking when it first came down, the more it made sense to me. And I'll start on the Colts side of things here. I don't think there's a juggernaut in the NFL this year. I was asked this morning about how many teams you think are legitimate Super Bowl contenders, like you could see them winning it. And I'm like, I think there might be 8 to 10, which is a pretty big number this time of the year. This isn't a runaway freight train anywhere else. The Colts have played as good a football as anybody in the league. You make a case the offense has been the best. Defensively, I think they're kind of middle of the pack in some of the metrics and the numbers here. They were 7th ranked defense, 16th in total defense, 7th most passing yards per game. So to me, I saw this team. Yeah, allowed. I saw this team in person, and I thought, okay, their offense is as good as I've seen, but defensively, and it was particularly in the back end, because with DeForest Buckner and Kwity Paye and Latu, they've got guys that they can get pressure up front. It's a back end issue. So it solves that problem. It's a winnable AFC. I also think there's the fact that you look at a team that won it last year on Saquon Barkley and a running back, a premier A+ running back in his prime. Well, they've got one in Jonathan Taylor. Now the question is, how many years left do you have of that premier back? So I feel like this is the time to strike right now. They haven't had to pay Daniel Jones big money yet, which that's going to change after this season's over. If they continue to have this type of success, they feel like it's going to be a late pick in each of the next 2 drafts. It's a go for it move from the Colts side of things, and I like it. On the Jets side, this is a team that's been searching for a quarterback for a bazillion years, and this just gives them more ammunition to try and solve that problem. And they having extra resources now in the next couple of drafts, whether that quarterback they believe is coming in this class or the next class, or if lo and behold, they want to take their shot in both of them, they've got the opportunity to do that. And this is a team, Buck, that's had defensive talent, a ton of defensive talent, and hasn't been able to translate into wins. So I think what you're going to see is a team taking some of these defensive resources, trying to reallocate it, because even if you're winning the same amount of games, if you're doing it with a fun, explosive offense and a quarterback, it just feels a whole lot different, and there's a lot of hope. Whereas if you're winning 13, 10 games and you got a dynamic defense and no quarterback, there still isn't a lot of hope there.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting thing. And we talk about the quarterback class, being able to have the cupboard fully stocked in terms of having the draft picks to be able to get one, whether you see it in 2026 or 2027, that's what you want. And we've seen the recipe for being able to get a franchise quarterback is to make sure that you always have 2 first rounders in your pocket to utilize whenever you want to be able to move up or down the board in the first round. And we'll see if this is the year where they're able to get it done, if they feel like there's a quarterback that is worthy of that, or if they just kind of pause and wait. Because remember, Justin Fields was on a 2-year deal. Even if they let him play it out, it gives them the ammunition that in 2027, they can go and get one. And, oh, by the way, that is when some are saying that Arch Manning may come out as opposed to 2026. So maybe, just maybe, it puts them in better range to get the guy that they may want.
Man, I just again, we were kind of outlining DJ before we jumped on, right? The receivers that you'd have to go through. I think that's kind of an interesting, piece of this thing as well for the Colts when you're kind of looking at at the contenders in the AFC, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not like a crazy group. I mean, especially the best receivers in the conference are sitting there in Cincinnati, and we don't even know if they're going to make the dance. Right. But I think, looking at New England with Diggs and Pop Douglas and Boutte and Drake May, particularly, that's something to think about. I think Denver, right, with Cortland Sutton, we've talked about. The other thing that I was curious about is Sauce has been at his best when he's been a press corner, right? Mm-hmm. When he's been physical and kind of in your face. Still, wants to be that way. How do you guys feel like that fits with the way that Lou Anarumo wants to play, with the way that the Colts have been playing? I mean, Charvarius Ward isn't quite there in terms of like frequency of getting up in press, but certainly does it. How do you feel like that style that he has is a fit, Bucky, for what Lou does?
Well, I think the one thing about Lou is he's really adaptable. The one thing that he isn't married to one style of play. And I think his experience as a DB coach would allow him to have a great feel for how to play Sauce, how to put Sauce in a situation where, hey, maybe on Sauce's side, he presses, but the other guys play off based on what they're comfortable in doing. I think the main thing is you want to get Sauce untracked. And the thing that he has shown that he's good at is he is a press corner guy. He was that at Cincinnati. He was that early in the league. I want to get him back to that. I want to get his confidence back. And so if he prefers to be up nose to nose, we're going to let him be nose to nose, and then we'll work around what we need to work around in terms of getting the other guys to play the responsibilities the way that it should be drawn up on the board.
Yeah, they vary their coverage. I'm looking it up as we're talking here. So they are 19th in cover 1 percentage. They're 11th in cover 2. They're 10th in quarters. So they're married
quarters
up.
In one.
Quarters in one puts you in press coverage maybe on 30% of the time based on those numbers. Yeah. So I mean, then cover 2, you can lock that up. So they can do everything from that quarter shell where he's nose to nose and build it out. And as he gets back to being the guy that he was early in the league, man, they're going to be able to do some combination things where, hey, they have him in man and it looks like quarters in this quarter, half, or whatever it is they want to do with him. I think there's a lot of freedom and flexibility in terms of building the coverage around Sauce.
Also, this is a kid who grew up in Detroit. So that's a 4.5-hour drive to Indy. He's a Midwest kid, played at Cincinnati. This is kind of getting back to home somewhat for him. So I'm sure he'll be excited about it.
The other thing too is, Charvarius Ward's been hurt, right? Since week 6, been on injured reserve with that concussion that he had, that's suffered in pregame warmups. So, who knows what that looks like, and maybe there's some thought it might take a little extra time, and then I mean, this obviously isn't a Band-Aid for this year. Like, you were going to build a defense around Sauce Gardner with what you're giving up, but it does, provide a little bit of flexibility here in the short term as well.
Well, let's get to some of these other trades here, because this is, and I'm sure there's probably going to be some that pop after we finish up. So if we don't talk about it, it's because it hadn't happened yet. Buck, your Jags bring in a receiver, Jacoby Myers, for a 4th and a 6th coming over from the Raiders. Your thoughts?
Oh, yeah, that might have been the worst kept secret in the league based on some of the tweets that had gone out. Some of the conversations they were talking about Adam Baselli having known Jacoby Myers for a minute and how there was a connection already there. Some said there may have been some bro hugs or some handshakes that were exchanged between Liam Cohen and Myers pre and post. I would say for the Jags, this is why it was so important to get him. The team leads the league in drop passes. You look at Jacoby Myers, his drop percentage is 1.8 over his career. So the one thing that is he's going to catch everything in the area. And for Trevor Lawrence, he needs someone that is reliable and dependable on the perimeter. With Travis Hunter on IR, Brian Thomas Jr., he had 8 drops coming into the last game. Parker Washington being a guy who had to handle Travis Hunter's responsibilities. They wanted someone that was, steady Yeti, someone that is consistent, that it can do. And I will say this, Trevor Lawrence was at his best when he had these 3 guys on the perimeter. It was Marvin Jones, Zay Jones, and Christian Kirk. And none of those guys were true number ones, but all of them were reliable and consistent when it came to catching passes. I think to unlock the quarterback, you have to make sure that he has someone that he can trust when he throws the ball out there. This is a step in that direction.
That begs the question, because everybody's looking at this going, well, okay, is this because Travis Hunter's hurt? Or is this because BTJ is going to be on the way out? It is so quick to make that hook on. He was so good last year.
Insane.
And it has not worked out. And Buck mentioned the drops, but to me, and we'll see, before this deadline, I think that's a mistake. I don't think you sell low on a guy like that who's proven he can play at a high level.
I would agree with you on that. But Buck, I'd ask you this, from a coaching perspective, is there at all a sense that, maybe he hasn't connected with this Stafford scheme, obviously a little bit different from what they had a year ago, but is there any reason outside of just, not playing up to what we saw a year ago that might have pointed to what we're seeing right now?
I would just say, sometimes when you have so much success so soon, there's internal and external pressure to build upon what you did last year. I think all of us have had great games in our career, and we probably went into the next game trying to pick up where we left off, and it creates this rush and this frenzied nature. I think some of that has been BTJ. I think the other thing is a new staff learning what he does really, really well. If you look at his game and you look at when he's real comfortable and productive, to me, it's vertical and outbreaking. Vertical routes down the field, outbreaking routes away from the teeth of the defense. Right now, that's what he has been most comfortable at in 2025. Now, it's hard to say that I'm a number 1 receiver if I don't do a lot of things over the middle. But in the course of the season, as a coach, man, you gotta meet them where they're at. And that's where he's at. I don't believe that they will be quick to pull the trigger, just because if you look at the body of work, and that's what we do as scouts, we don't just look at the last 9 games. We hopefully look at the entire career and see what he's done. Man, it would be really soon to give up on someone who's been very, very productive, has shown flashes of being a guy that can get to that elite level.
No doubt. I'm just looking down at my phone here and seeing that the Browns, they're trading Joe Tryon-Shoyinka in a 7th round pick and 26 of the Bears for a 26 7th round pick. Is that what we got here?
Boy, so Joe Tryon, 1st round pick of the Bucks.
Man,
I haven't really heard much from the Browns.
All there. Just a depth piece trade there. I want to get to a couple more of these because a couple of these I really, really like. Jalen Phillips goes to the Eagles for a 3rd. The Eagles just collect all these extra picks so that they can make moves like this, and they get a former 1st round pick in Jalen Phillips to add to their edge rush group. Remember, Brandon Graham comes out of retirement, so they've really tried to fortify that. To get back the depth, they like to play with those alpha and bravo units. They want to roll out a bunch of fresh guys throughout the game, so that made sense for them. Rashid Shaheed, who's a big play merchant for the Saints, a lot of speed. He goes to the Seahawks. I like that because he's someone who doesn't have to touch the ball a lot to have impact. You can still run this thing through JSN. They're running a lot of tight ends out there. Get Cooper Kupp when he comes back healthy, but you got somebody who can get vertical and who also has history with your offensive coordinator. So the fit works there. And then Draymond Jones goes to the Ravens from the Tennessee Titans. I saw him last week in person. He rushed really, really well. So remember, they trade away to get the safety help that they needed in Aloy Gilman. And now they go back and get another pass rusher after having shipped one out a month ago, and they bring in Draymond Jones. So of those, Buck, is there one that you like more than the other, or anything that stands out to you?
Man, it's so funny because there's so many of them. I like the Draymond Jones one, because I think he is a guy who has shown the ability to be a real impactful player. And I just think like people have sweet tooth for certain people. You know what I'm saying? They just they're sweet on him. And I think Draymond Jones is just a perfect fit where he's going. He's big, he's physical, he's shown the ability to not only dominate against the run, but to get to the passer. It's exactly what they need.
I mean, the Shaheed trade to me is like, oh boy. All right. Like we saw Sam Darnold quite possibly at his best, right? In that first half of that game against the Commanders. Cooper Kupp down with an injury. But Torrey Horton, is there. And I think you just throw this speed element, which maybe is that one piece that they really haven't had, that really don't have, I guess, even though, Horton can get up and down the field. But man, that just provides so much. To me, it feels like you're providing even more room for JSN to operate in that area.
1,000%. And they can go with heavy tight end looks. They can give you a lot of different personnel packages now. Fullback they throw out there. They can go out there and go 4 wide. They can put 2 backs out there if they wanted to. I mean, they've got tight ends that can block. They've got now Arroyo getting down.
Arroyo? I mean,
they got a lot of weapons. They got a lot of weapons. I did an exercise, by the way, and we'll do this, and then we can move on to some of the rookie stuff in our coordinator of the week. But I just did this exercise on the Seahawks because we talk about them and seeing how Sam played and looking at some of their guys. So just tell me if you think this is a fair fight. I went back to last year, and if I said like the 7 most indispensable players for the Eagles championship team last year, right? So if we looked at those 7 guys, I wrote down Saquon, Lane Johnson, Jalen Carter, obviously Hurts, Quinion Mitchell, Zach Bond, AJ Brown. I put those 7 guys with a couple extras would be Devontae Smith and Mailata, right? So that's the top 7 to 9. Then you look at this Seattle team: Sam, JSN, Leonard Williams, Byron Murphy, Cross at left tackle, Eamon Witherspoon. That's the 7 with Zabel and Abe Lucas is 8 and 9. I'm looking at that going, if you're saying, is this a championship caliber team? I think that was the same weight class. You could argue this player, that player, but I think this Seattle team, and Buck, you've always talked about it, you got to have those 7 to 10 guys, high level players. Seattle's kind of got that. And I think she just provides that depth piece, but they've got the headliners they need to go win a Super Bowl.
I mean, if you watch them on Sunday night, the way they were just running past the Commanders with their wide receivers, the last thing you thought they would need is another one to be able to do it. But he gives them that explosiveness. And you're right, man, Sam Darnold is dealing. When I look at this team, I already felt like the defense was at that championship caliber. But offensively, man, they had the firepower to get it done. Not only throwing it, but you can't forget about how good they have been running the football. They're a well-constructed team, and I feel like this is an arms race between them and the rest of the NFC West. And as they're trying to kind of get pole position to keep the Rams at bay with the Niners lurking in the background, I think on paper you can talk about it being dead even. And I think they have 2 matchups with the Rams.
Yeah, they haven't played them yet.
Yeah, they have 2 matchups to get this done. This is them really loading up for that battle.
All right, guys, it's time for Hot or Not, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. This is something we do each and every week. We identify a coordinator that needs to be highlighted, doing an excellent job. This week, Buck and I, we bestowed the honor on Rhett to be able to select our coordinator of the week. So, Rhett, I don't know if you have the bio in front of you.
I'm ready to go.
But I will give you the floor for our Move the Sticks coordinator of the week.
Yeah, we're going to look. I think first off, we'll give some honorable mention. I thought we talked about it a little bit with the Seattle piece there. Clint Kubiak could probably earn it this week with what he did with the Seahawks in that win on Monday night, on Sunday night. But he was just our coordinator a couple of weeks ago, so wanted to get another name in there. So we ended up giving it to Panthers defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero, who is in his 2nd season as the defensive coordinator now. The Carolina Panthers just came off a big win in stifling that Green Bay Packers offense this past week for the Panthers, who are above 500 right now. It's been a really nice turnaround there in Charlotte. And this is his second go as a defensive coordinator. Came over from the Denver Broncos in 2022 and has been now with the Panthers since 2023. Was also with the Rams. So got a pretty heavy dose of Sean McVay from 2017 to 2021 as the secondary coach and passing game coordinator. And then actually really kind of began, his coaching career as it currently sits now in 2016 when he went to the Green Bay Packers as a defensive quality control guy for defensive coordinator Dom Capers, who he really credits as a guy that elevated his career, elevated his understanding of the game. I actually talked about it here recently. And when he went to Denver, brought Dom Capers with him. When he came back to Carolina, brought Dom Capers back with him as an assistant, to kind of help him. And he talked about getting a PhD in football from Dom Capers. And that to me just brings me back to the old New Orleans Saints Dome Patrol defenses when Dom Capers was there with Steve Sidwell and so many of those terrific coaches who have their fingerprints on defenses throughout the league. And so just watching what Evero has done here with this group, Derek Brown is playing, at an extremely high level. They're getting some really good play at Nick Scorton, a rookie. I think to the secondary, Trayvon Merrick has been a nice acquisition from them coming over after Jeremy Chin left. And obviously you get a top flight corner in JC Horn. Just feels like they're starting to put some pieces together and just found a pretty good, found a way to slow down a really potent offense in the Green Bay Packers enough to keep, what was it? Let's see. Kept it with 13 points. Pretty dang good in that sense, and limited them to under 400 yards, 360 yards of total offense. For what they had been doing, felt like that was pretty good, and earning Ejiro Evero the coordinator of the week here on Move the Sticks.
So I don't know if you were still in the game, DJ, but I don't know if you remember Evero as a player at UC Davis. But he might
have gone in there.
Yeah,
what year was that? Was that?
Eons ago. I don't know. I just remember going through there.
Yeah, and, he was in he played there. Yeah, I would have overlapped 99 to 03. Yeah, I probably was in there.
Yeah, right when I just started, I remember him as a player. And so it's always funny. I mean, it ages you like when you're like, hey man, I scouted you. But like to think about what he has become and give them a lot of credit because they struggled so bad last year, but to hang with them and to see what this defense has become. I can't imagine really going into the year thinking that at some point the Carolina Panthers and the Kansas City Chiefs would have the same record. Yeah. But here we are. And when you look at their defensive talent and the way that they're going about it and the way that they're running the football on offense, I mean, you can squint and kind of close your eyes and see a path. You can see a path to the playoffs for the Panthers.
Hey now.
If they get it, I mean, you can do it.
Yeah, no question. Full disclosure, by the way, while Rhett was talking that whole time, I was just preparing for my rookie draft because we're closing in on him, and I was just trying to make sure that I was locked in. But that was an excellent presentation, or so I heard. That was this week's Hot or Not segment, brought to you by Wasabi Hot Cloud Storage. Store more and do more with your data. Try them for free at wasabi.com. And if you want to watch that defense and other defenses and study players like you do as a scout, we've got the perfect thing for you. All you got to do is sign up for NFL Plus Premium and check out NFL Pro, where you can access over 95 unique player and team performance stats and the all-important All-22 film. It's exactly what scouts are doing, watching that tape. So that is available on desktop and the mobile web. I encourage you to do that. All right, so here's where we are with the rookies. I was a little bit nervous that Rhett was getting ready to run away with this thing. He's in a great spot, but he did something that I didn't know was humanly possible last week. He lost a point to Bucky's selection, who did not play in the game. Travis Hunter did not play, which got him 0 points.
Oh, Jalen Lane, what are we doing?
But Noel got Rhett minus 0.3 points. When you put the ball on the carpet, that's what happens. So Bucky managed to get a point with a player who did not actually play in the game. So Bucky came away with 7 points because Genty was big for him, and then Loveland had a monster game.
I mean, you better go buy a lottery ticket, brother. If you predicted Colston Loveland to go off like that,
he was waiting for this game.
Get this Powerball, brother.
At some point, you had to know that first round pick is going to get his chance. Like, we got to go.
That's just timing and feel. That's all that is. Sure, Bucky nailed it. So Bucky gets a massive 7-point week. I got 4. Rhett just absolutely in the crapper with 1 point. Now, still in the lead. I'll give him that. He's at 39 points.
Thank you.
I'm at 36. Buck's at 33. I mean, the old phrase, Buck, objects in your mirror closer than they appear, like that. Rhett's can see us kind of closing in on him from behind. And then I looked because this is why I was doing my homework, because I got the first pick. And there's a lot of different ways I can go. I want to.
Do we know who's on bye week? Can we get?
Yeah. We got the bye teams. The bye teams is not going to really matter. Tennessee, Chimere DK, you could take him off the list. Tennessee, Dallas, KC, Cincinnati. So not going to have a big impact there. Bashard Smith off the table. But I want to take Tyler Warren just because he's been the catalyst for so much of Rhett's success. I would like to just remove him from the equation.
That's what I am living in your head. I love this now.
I am. But that's the one side of my head. If you just cut it in half, that's the one side. The other side has been watching what Oronde Gadsden has been doing for the last 4 weeks. And you got the Steelers coming into town, and I know they've got, they've put some resources back there with Jalen Ramsey moving full-time to safety. But you've got an offensive line that's suffering through some injuries. And who gives you quick, easy completions? Slot receivers and tight ends. So I am going to go with the Charger. I'm going to go Oronde Gadsden.
First pick
in this week.
First pick?
Yep. He's on a heater.
Wow.
He's on a heater. So I'm jumping on him. That gives Bucky the second pick.
Well, I mean, if you can go with Oronde Gadsden right away, I feel like I need to join the train when it comes to tight ends. Let's just take Tyler Warren right.
Oh, thank you. I needed him to be off the board.
The basketball season is underway. We're learning how to box out. Carolina back with the bigs. We're boxing out.
Hey, did you see, by the way, I was watching that Arizona game, and I'm like, surely this guy's related to Andrew Speed. He looks just like him. And then that dude for Arizona went for 30. First game as a freshman, 5-star recruit. And then I looked up his bio as Andrew Speed's little brother. So I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Nice player.
Oh, interesting.
All right, we've got 2 tight ends off the board for you there, Rhett. What do you want to do? You get back-to-back picks.
I'm certainly not going to take a tight end here. So let's take a peek at where things stand with the running backs right now. Genty. RJ Harvey had a pretty good week for me, just not enough to pass Genty. He was just a couple of pieces, a couple of points below Genty. So I think what I'll do is we got Quinshon Judkins back into the fray this week.
There's so many guys. You don't need Genty. Like, what do you take Genty for? Like,
well, you picked him. What do you mean? You picked him last week. You won with him.
And this is psychological warfare on this draft right now.
Oh, it's a Thursday night, so I'll be on the set for Thursday night NFL game day kickoff. It'd be nice to watch that. A little spice for me. But against that Broncos defense, that feels less likely. Let's go Quinshon Judkins against the 1-7 Jets is where I'm going to go for that pick there at running back. So Judkins back in the saddle. And, it hasn't been flashy, but Tetairoa McMillan continues to be the most consistent rookie receiver out there. And so I think that's where I want to go. Although we get Ibuka back this week. Patriots are so good. Oh, yeah. Let's go Tetairoa McMillan. Let's go Tet McMillan. Yeah, Tetairoa McMillan. T-Mac
so you went
going up against the Saints.
You went Judkins and McMillan, then?
Judkins and McMillan, yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Buck.
I mean, look, I got to go with Ashton Genty. I mean, I don't care if we're playing the Broncos or not. I just sat there and saw Chip Kelly play a video game against the Jaguars where the only 2 people that touched the ball were Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers. And because Brock Bowers isn't eligible for a rookie draft, I got to go with Genty.
All right. So I'm going to go Ibuka first of all.
I thought he was ineligible. I thought you couldn't take him.
Ibuka?
Yeah, I just thought you couldn't take him. Why would you?
You're making that up.
Why would you want to take him? Take somebody else.
No, I wanted Ibuka because I'm going to win these 2 positions. I just got to feel comfortable with a back here. I'm tempted to go. So Judkins gone, Genty's gone. Bill has not been good lately.
Bad news.
Bill has not been good. I mean, is Monangai going to keep this train rolling here?
I don't know. Is Swift back? It's a risk you got to take.
Give me Travion Henderson. Give me Travion Henderson. I'm going to go
Travion. So passing up RJ Harvey.
Yeah, Henderson had a good game 2 weeks ago. I'm going to go that he's ready to go here.
Okay.
So I've got Gadsden, Ibuka, and Henderson. I'm big on Ohio State here. A couple Ohio Staters in the Syracuse Orangemen.
All right, Bucky, what do you got?
Bucky ended up with.
He's got to make another pick.
Man. Oh, you got to go. I thought we were
make another pick.
I'm so locked in. I don't even want to let you guys.
Two more picks.
I don't want to let you guys finish. Go ahead.
I don't even know. I can take it because my guy's out. I'm scrolling. Is there anybody that is young?
You screwed the pooch not taking Ibuka. That screwed the pooch on that one.
Well, I'm trying to play team ball and box out. My guy, is there anything that says I have to take a wide? I can't take two tight ends?
No, you may not.
You have to take a receiver here. Let me give you some other names here. Hold on one second.
Let's look at some names. I'm down here.
Yeah.
Matthew Golden.
You've got Io Man. Oh, they're on a bye. Tennessee's on a bye, so you can't take him. You can't take Travis.
So Matthew, he's hurt.
Go get you a little Isaiah Bond.
I don't believe in
Matthew.
Let's go with Matthew Golden. Yeah, I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that.
He needs to do something, man.
He hasn't done anything. Nothing. So Matthew,
I've never seen someone with less confidence in their draft than Bucky right now. Rhett, finish us up.
Yeah, give me Loveland.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't even like him. He's not going to play for you because you don't like him.
I don't. But we're going to, if he gets half that production, we're going to win.
Hey, see if Rhett can go negative again. That's how we reel him in. We got to reel him in. So Rhett goes Judkins, McMillan, Loveland. Bucky has Warren, Genty, Golden. And then I've got Gadsden, Ibuka, and Henderson. So there you go. There's our rookie draft for this week. Boys, anything else you want to add before we get out of here today?
Nice little get here from Drew down in the chat, talking about a little tidbit on the Sauce trade just to finish up. Alec Pierce and Sauce, teammates at Cincinnati. And you guys probably remember from the draft process talking about Alec Pierce, like he was calling out, he wanted Sauce every day, every rep, every practice. And now they get to be teammates again. So that's kind of cool. Might make for some fun if some fun practice reps out there for those two.
I like it. Fun little tidbit there. I remember that. All right. That's going to do it for us today. I hope you guys have enjoyed a wild trade deadline. If there's any more moves, we will get to those on the next episode. We'll see you next time right here on Move the Sticks.